Welcome, everybody, to the Price Report. Every single Wednesday night, we bring you someone that I've met on the internet in real life that has inspired me, that continues to push forward in cryptocurrency, someone that I know will provide value to you if you give them some of your time. And so I want to give you my time on this channel and bring them on in so we can have an awesome discussion and have some fun. Today, I'm with CryptoFactor. He's also known as Paul, Paulie D, we could call him if you want. He's in the house. He's hanging out. Just wanted to make him laugh. But Paul, how you doing? How you feeling today? Thank you so much for coming on to the live and being a part of this awesome discussion every single Wednesday night called The Price Report. And yeah, how you been?
Thank you so much, man. I'm doing great. I've been watching your videos. I've been watching your TA. You are very good at what you do. Fun fact about Paulie D, my actual MC name, and yes, I used to be an MC, is Paul D, and that was right before Jersey Shore's Paulie D. And he actually outranked me on Google. I got really mad at that. So, but yeah, anyway.
That's funny, yeah. So you were into music too. It's funny, a lot of us crypto people love music, are into music. I also was in music for a long time.
I was into hip hop. I had my own nightclub. I used to host at nightclubs around Europe, around the Balkans. I've worked with people like DJ Lord from Public Enemy. I've met Wu-Tang Clan. I've met Public Enemy, obviously. I've met Orishas. I performed with the Beatnuts in Greece and Switzerland. I did quite a little bit of a career as an MC.
Just he might be some kind of bigger deal, but that's
I don't
cool,
really
man.
talk about it anymore, though.
Yeah, had your own club too, like actually secure.
My own nightclub, yes.
Come in and out.
I used to be a bouncer at the nightclub, and I bought it.
Wow, look at this dude rising up from the ranks of the streets. The hip hop, yeah, that's crazy, but that's awesome, man. Yeah. So, one thing that I was looking at that, you're always looking at the charts and the news. I notice you, and you pay attention to, a lot of macro ideas, right? And that's one thing that I noticed when I was first on the live stream with you. I was like, man, I like this guy's take, and he's someone that I definitely like. If I came in, what I always look at, I don't try to judge any YouTube or anything. But what I really do is I love the space. And I do feel like protecting the space is just the number one. So whenever I look at someone and I'm on like ATB with them or something like that, first thing I do is I go watch their channel for a little bit. Because I want to know, who did I just share the screen with? Or if I know beforehand, just to try to little. And I want to see if I was brand new, is this person giving sound, secure ideas that are making someone, understand crypto properly? Are they just trying to like use crypto to their own advantage? You know what I mean? We're all humans are self-serving at one point. We have to breathe. We have to eat. Like anyone that says they're not is just denying the fact of the human you're only. But can you self-serve yourself and others at the same time? And that's what I'm always looking for. And I definitely saw that in you, man. And that's why I love having you on the channel. One thing I wanted to talk about is your take on the XRP case. Brad House just had the personal stuff removed there, right? It seems like they beat some things. Do you still think the SEC can have his clause in XRP? How long do you think the case could go on? Do you know a little bit more about some of these legal proceedings than I do? And, just what's your take on that?
All right. So funny you should mention XRP, because I'm actually on the XRP Army's wanted list, number one, number two, or something like that. And it's funny because I'm not actually bearish on XRP. I'm not insanely bullish either. But it all started about a year or two ago, before the SEC debacle, before the situation with the SEC. I was looking at the charts and I could see that XRP couldn't get over 70 cents. It kept on selling off. So I thought that there was something wrong there. And I said, hey, get out of XRP, get into DeFi. And also, I think it was Cardano at the time. Yeah, Cardano. And of course, I was attacked like crazy. After that, the SEC situation happened, and everybody was saying they're going to win. It's going to take a couple of months, and it's going to shoot up in price. I'm like, no, it's not. It's going to take a few years. I mean, this court case is going to take a few years. Again, people, the XRP. I mean, you clown, you're going to get wrecked, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. I'm like, listen, guys, it's going to take some time. Meanwhile, they were saying it's going to relist on exchanges all of a sudden. It's going to shoot up in price. And this was at the time where I was a marketing director of a fully licensed and regulated crypto exchange. So I was telling them that's not going to happen. You're going to have time. Nothing moves up in a straight line. You're going to miss the run. Everyone made money in the last bull run, including their mother, except the XRP army. So my point with XRP was fully charts. I mean, all the news for me really is just noise, because A, there's news for the masses and there's news for the classes. We will never get the news for the classes. We always get the news for the masses. Our best chance is to look at charts, and that might reveal some news. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, right? So I was waiting for it to get over 70 cents. I recently made a claim a few months ago that it has to get over $1 for me to be interested. If it gets over $1, we might hit all-time highs. If we break all-time highs, I'm looking at a $4 to $7 XRP by the end of the bull market. Possibly 10, but that's a stretch, right? Which is a very conservative and actually very bullish narrative for XRP. Yet, I am a fodder. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to get wrecked because even though I was right up to now, everyone's looking for that switch. There's so many switches that have been switched. I've lost count.
Well, my buddy was XRP Muser, like on Twitter. He was all about XRP, like it was one of his handles, right? And the same thing. He put a lot of his eggs in XRP, and all. And I have like a good substantial amount of XRP. I'm not gonna like I think most people would say, wow, like a used car's worth. You know what I mean? Like so.
Right.
And I think it could do something. I think it's silly not to own it, but yeah, I mean, not being in Phantom, Cake, all these other things that were just like, new DeFi projects, like there was all these decentralized gaming, and to wait through that was really sad too, to see a lot of people I knew who were like long-term holders, and maybe this time, and like the whole rally went on. I mean, it had that first pump, and then they're going
to get wrecked again.
And then the case came out, and then it just. And so
here's what's going to happen. It's going to get to $4 to $7. We're going to take profit, whether we love XRP or not. We're going to take profits. We're going to keep a bag just to make sure. Everyone's going to be waiting for 10K, 25K, 50K. They don't realize they're not going to be billionaires and trillionaires overnight. It's impossible. Just looking at how many people are in XRP, there's no way they're going to become billionaires and trillionaires. Right? So they're going to miss the boat. They're going to miss the train. They're going to get wrecked. And especially the ones that are just in XRP, the XRP maxes. And they're going to be crying and waiting for that switch again.
Oh, man. Now I know why they're the most hated, man. Yeah, you're just really stabbing the wound.
But it's true. It's true. Really, I'm not telling you, okay, let's say you believe it's going to go to 10,000. It's not. But let's just say it's going to go to 10,000. Take profits at $4 to $7. Keep a bag. It's not going to get to 589. Not anytime soon or late.
Yeah.
It's just not.
They get that's another thing too, when people get so invested in a project for so long. Because I've been there. I've removed myself emotionally from my coins now. Like even I love Cardano. I've been in Cardano a long time. I told myself the end of this rally, I'm selling everything. Like I'm not even keeping a bag of Cardano, because I believe it's going to be long term a great thing, but I always know I'm going to be able to get it at a lower price, man. Like
exactly in the bear market,
these things get overvalued, no matter how great they are. You know what I mean? But at the time, I fell for it in 2017, right? You buy this new thing. The market cap, I think it was $100 billion when I got into crypto. Like it wasn't even, we didn't, there was whispers of one day we'll be $1 trillion one day, and then we had 300 bill, and then it was on our way. And I mean, the euphoria came, and I thought I was in a brand new idea. Like I thought I'd bought Amazon, and there was just no way. Like, you know what I mean? Cardano, there's just no way. Yeah. I'm in at the bottom. No one knows about this. And I was pleasantly, a rude awakening when I saw the $1.31 Cardano. And believe me, I put like $3,600 in at 2 cents. So
yeah, me too.
Not that much, I told my dad, I was like, I had 180 grand, and he's looking at me like, and I'm like, Dad, like this was $3,600, and he's looking at me in the kitchen, like, you're telling me that $3,600? I'm like, Dad, crypto it can change your life, and like that's when my family knew there was something weird with me. They're like. I just started to be like, I don't think I should tell anyone this stuff anymore. And at the dinner table, it's funny. But
yeah. No, it's insane. You can make massive gains, but the truth is, we get emotional, we get married to the coins, and people are in denial. They're like literally in denial. I bet you right now, underneath in the comment section right now, who is this guy? What does he think? He's bald. Anything like that. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. They go to the physical. When they get offended, they go to the physical, right? Like, they change the subject, right? Which has nothing to do with XRP at all.
Right. It's hilarious, but it's a shame. It's a shame because they're going to get wrecked again, and other people are going to make money. People that don't love XRP because they know what they're doing. And you know what? I'll even argue this. Take profits, take out your initial investment at $4 to $7, especially if we're in the boom market. If it's 24, 25, take profits. You can always buy back. Keep a small bag. If it goes to 10,000, 25,000, which it's not, you're going to be a millionaire anyway. A multimillionaire.
Yeah, so if you think it's going to go there, if you think it's going to go there anyway, you don't need to be a trillionaire.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you can have 100 XRP.
So now, Charles, Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny. It's like, it's just, I mean, speaking of trillions, right?
Right.
$5.1 trillion. Is that like exits the stock market as a report?
That's insane.
What do you think's going on here? Do you think, are they loading up on some other asset? Are they making some type of move that you've been looking at? Do you study the kind of macro economic effects of what China does? And, is that something that you pay? I mean, you've always been a guy that really, I actually watched you one day and you were mentioning something about China. One of the first times I actually listened to you. So,
Right.
yeah.
So I do have times where I talk about macros. Macro is not really my forte, but I do believe that what's going on with China right now, they're trying to get their money into safe sort of assets, at least the people in the know, right? I mean, we were hearing all these horror stories the last year or two. People in the know are trying to get into safe assets. What are safe assets? Of course, it is gold. And of course, I would even argue that it's Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Now, picture this. If you're Chinese and you have USDT abroad or you have any other cryptocurrency, you can't really bring your money back, right? You can only go USDT to Bitcoin. And this is something I was talking about when the big FUD was going on with USDT the first time, then the USDC and all that. I was saying, listen, Bitcoin's going to go up. Because they can't, what are they going to do? Bring their USDT into China? I don't think the Chinese government will be very happy about that. So their only choices would be to put it into Bitcoin. And I think a lot of people, a lot of Chinese people, when they travel, that's when they use their Bitcoin. So I don't know exactly what's going on with the stock market. I think it's one of the first times that this has ever happened. But people are getting into safe assets. Maybe they're expecting something. Maybe it's just a way of protecting themselves. Maybe they know a few companies are going to crash. I mean, again, show me the charts. I'll tell you the news. Something's going on. What's the news? We don't know yet. Yeah. Another thing is a lot of times the news is incorrect, even after the event. Because what happens is, okay, we see, you know this, you're a trader, you're a technical trader. We see Bitcoin at resistance. It's probably going to break down. We see that in the charts, right? Once it goes down, everyone's rushing to see why and looking for a news event. And it can be any news event. Totally. And it's usually irrelevant.
Binance was investigated this morning. Bitcoin tanked,
Yeah, so Bitcoin tanked. Yeah. Meanwhile, we've had similar news.
Remember China bans Bitcoin? Remember that one? Like they've done that.
Yes, of course.
10 times in a row. They'll do it again probably next week.
In short term, they might have a little bit of volatility, but it all depends if you're in a bull market or bear market. If you're in a bear market, it's going to go down more. If it's a bull market, you'll shake it off. It's very simple. Yeah. Right. So, I don't know. What's your opinion about China, though? What's your take on it?
Honestly, I think it's like connected to the fact that like they don't want to use the petrodollar, right? And maybe the fact that they wanted like stack cash so they can buy gold, right? I mean, I've been just listening to other people and, some other guys that I listen to kind of on the, underground radio type of stuff. And they're saying, China has 35,000 tons or a billion tons, I don't know, some huge number of gold, right? And they're just going to keep stacking it. Like, and they actually unreport how much gold they're actually holding. And why would they want to hold gold for so long? And like, what would they do? Well, it enable them to back their country, right, with its own form of, so they wouldn't have to basically, be connected to the petrodollar anymore, right? And they could be able to transfer in whatever kind of currency they wanted, yen, and maybe Bitcoin, you know what I mean? So
right,
they could also be stacking Bitcoin as well. Interesting how Hong Kong is starting to move with legalities, and it just lets you think that, they wouldn't have let that happen at all if I don't think they felt they were going to move at least to seed the idea that they were going to start letting more cryptocurrency exchanges kind of spread throughout that area. So I feel like the main reason is gold stacking, but I could be wrong. It does worry me. Evergrande really never was a bleeding, hole in the financial system that really has never been patched. Right. And that's something, that it's like an Enron of sorts, and, it could really spill over into, possibly into the financial sector. No one really discusses it as much. What I see happening is just money printing, though, at the end of the day. Like, all this leads to the fact that the system that he created doesn't really work that well, which, again, is a proponent for Bitcoin. One thing that people don't realize, they all say, Bitcoin's never seen a recession. What happens when we get a recession? Like, I keep hearing this. I don't know. Every time I have the discussion, but it never went through one of these. Yesterday I tried to make this really, extrapolated idea that, there's a womb, and then the women have a womb, and then they can have a child, but like the womb's already waiting. It just needs to have like the seed to begin, And it's kind of like Bitcoin, there was a womb waiting because the economy was, the structure of the economy was so wrong anyway, with central banks and the parasitic, way they lent to governments and then forced people into taxation, like that there was already something waiting, like the universe and the time was waiting for like something. So like Bitcoin did actually come through a recession because like it wouldn't have even made it out, but like it came out of that turmoil, like, and that's what made it exist. And then it beat up the dollar like it was a penny, right? It beat the heck out of the dollar. Look, it's sitting at $34,000. Like it's amazing what it's done to the dollar. And so over time, I keep thinking, well, if they keep ruining things and basically governments keep kind of falling on their feet, so to speak, and tripping on their shoelaces, it just keeps becoming a billboard for Bitcoin as well. So like, even though Bitcoin is, macroly connected inside of a financial hub and a system, it also gains popularity through the internet, which also helps it move and get, more volume and more people know about it. And every time a government has an issue, or every time we see something like this too, like a struggling stock market, I feel like it just makes people more comfortable with like, you know what? I can hold it on my own. I don't have to go to the bank to get it. It's not inside of my E-Trade account. It's mine. I think I'd rather have some of this Bitcoin now, even if it's just a small amount.
So, but you said that Bitcoin has never been through a recession. This is false. It hasn't been through a recession in the States.
Interesting.
Like if you think about it, look
this.
at all the countries with overinflation. Look what happened. Look what happened to Bitcoin. And for them, it was worth it, right? I mean, we've seen what inflation does to countries, and we've seen Bitcoin go up, and we've seen Bitcoin break all-time highs in various countries. So we have seen what Bitcoin does in a recession. We just haven't seen it in America. And obviously, America controls kind of like the world, like the culture through Hollywood, through everything. It's American. So maybe the Americans don't see this, but it's kind of like if America does go through a recession, we can argue if we're in a recession or not in America, but if it does go through a recession, we already know kind of what's going to happen to Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
And it's the same, a lot of people try to use logic and be rational with the markets when the markets are irrational. Like everyone was scared Bitcoin's going to fall when we entered Ukraine. And the stock markets usually rally before a major war. And if you look at it, they do. So a lot of people got wrecked with Bitcoin as well in general, thinking it's going to go down to 10K or 8K. And it was ridiculous because here's what's going on. And I saw this with Data Dash, by the way. And I like Data Dash. Don't get me wrong. I've interviewed him. Great guy.
I grew up watching him for years, and that's why. And I became an objective watcher of the market, and that's why I couldn't understand his content anymore because there was just no hope for either side of the coin. You know what I mean? And I was like, and it's funny that you bring it up, man.
What happened to Data Dash? What happened to Nicholas? What happened to Caper? What happened to all these people that got wrecked is very simple. And this is a technical analyst. A lot of them let the news, their macros, and what's going in the world emotionally overtake their TA. In TA, you can have the bullish case and you can have the bearish case most of the time. Now, they were doing it so regularly that the emotion and what their beliefs of the world was reflecting in their TA for the bearish point of view. Now, real TA, you only do it a few times a year. Let's be honest, unless you're a day trader, a few times, and you're trading within ranges, it's a few times a year where you can actually say, okay, this TA says this, mostly unbiased, the probabilities are this, right? You don't do it every week or every month. Like it's more rare. Yes, if you're a day trader,
whatever you choose. Like I might redo it every day to show everyone, but like the idea that I'm coming up with sits. You know what I mean? Like if we lose this head and shoulder on the monthly, or if like for instance, my TA was like you're saying, I found bullish divergence on the weekly.
Right.
I tested it on like 7 assets throughout the world that have 20 years of, and I saw that happens once every 7 years, and it was always the bottom. It was always the bottom. Like,
right.
There was
their
never
emotions.
And I was like, oh, that's the bottom for Bitcoin. Like, that's how simple it was for me. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, there's your bottom for Bitcoin.
Right.
Based on years of data. I'm going to go with that. I'm not going on with anything else I know. And then I didn't listen to anything else since then. And I've been
it's all noise.
Plowing ahead ever since, like, so.
Exactly. And that's basically what happened. And a lot of people don't realize how strong your emotions in the world events, because let's be honest, okay, we had a prolonged bear market, which I disagree with, by the way. I don't believe we're in a bear market at all. I called the end of the bear market a long time ago.
Wow.
And we can talk about that pretty later on. But they let all these events judge their TA. Now, day trading, a lot of other people, they make a big mistake. I like it when people do day trading on YouTube and explain, yes, it's day trading and stuff like that. But most people on YouTube that watch YouTube, they're not day traders, and they're not going to day trade. And if they were, they wouldn't watch those videos. But you need those videos to get the views if you're a day trader. So you're playing with emotions. One day you're bullish, one day you're bearish, and you have to be to get those views. I don't do TA on my channel every day for that reason, because it'll be the most boring show in the world. They'll be like, yep, we're still in the range. And there's it. We'll wait for the breakout, same level, 31K, 31.8, or under 26.2, whatever. We're still in that range. Bye. So I don't do that. Now, there are people that want to learn day trading or want to learn the charts. That's fine. That's great. But a lot of people, they go on this emotional roller coaster with Data Dash, with other, not just Data Dash, other TA experts as well, or so-called experts. And they get wrecked because they don't know what's going on. At the end of the day, you know what they say? TA doesn't work.
Yep.
And then they try to go fundamentals, which is even worse. Yeah. Because, especially macros and news events. Like, again, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news.
Yep.
All right. So this is
the thing I learned too is you eventually, because I remember selling a Bitcoin at 17.5 when I felt like we were at the top and the market just continued to rally. And like I'll tell myself, number one, I never sell Bitcoin again. And number two, you know, I just learned that I was getting too involved in the macro news. And you know, it's almost something that happens to you over time. If you keep doing the charts, your brain really changes. Like you do something to your subconscious mind, because like over time, you just begin to trust the charts more than anything. If you spend more time with something, you trust it more, right? So like the more you
exactly
the charts, the more. So like I don't like the news is fun. I read the news, it's interesting. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, the ETF pumped it, and we had the fake news. But it's funny, there was hidden bullish divergence in the 8 hour, and I was calling for a move, and we had come to the 786 retracement, and I had literally called the bottom, you know, a local bottom there, like a couple of days before, like, wow, that's a 786. And I had opened a long, right. And then we shot up out of nowhere. And it was like, and I was like, I can't tell everyone, like, I knew exactly we were going to shot up, but like that, my TA said that we were, you know what I mean? So I always tell everyone, I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance, and just the charts are going to show what's happen, you know?
The TA will give you signs. If you don't, you won't know what the news is, but it will give you, somebody always knows.
So amazing. You know,
right? Somebody always knows, and that's what TA picks up, and that's what you saw. Now, I have a theory about TA. All right, I have a theory about TA.
I kind of feel what you just said, like that the telepathic translation of like the action always gets found inside of the algorithmic piece. You know, no matter how they try to find it, like we can still see the footprint of human emotions, like the chart. You know.
Now, I have a theory about TA, and this is very important. This is for your viewers right here, and you're going to like this. You are a TA expert. You've been doing it for years. You've learned it, right? I have a philosophy.
I'm a beginner. You know,
you're a beginner. Are you doing it more than 3 years?
No, I've been doing it 15 years, but I just like to call myself a beginner, just because.
Perfect. Okay, so you're a really good trader.
Even if I did it for like 80 years, I'm still a beginner. You know what I mean?
It takes 3 or 4 years to even start learning TA. Would you agree with that?
100%.
And it does. 100%. It sounds like a lot of time for a lot of people out there right now, but it's not. It takes 8 years to be a doctor, six years to be a lawyer. It takes 3 or 4 years to learn TA, and guess what? You're making more money than them.
It really takes time, though. It's so funny you said that. Everyone thinks it's going to be this. You'll understand it. Like you can learn your fibs and all this, but you have it's a mold. It's a brain mold thing that happens to you. I can't.
It's like driving a car. You can learn the rules of driving a car, but until you start driving the car and pulling the handbrake to do those 3, it's a whole different thing. When to break the rules. Right? When to break the rules. And what people don't understand is if you are new to TA, if you're doing TA, just keep it basic, simple. If you are good at TA and you've been doing it for 15 years, sure, you can do all the diagonals, you can do the Fibonacci retracements, you can do all that stuff. But if you are new to TA, just be very simple, moving average, support resistance, maybe a little bit of Eastern technical analysis, maybe a few Western heads and shoulders, inverted heads and shoulders, cup and handles, and that's it. Just keep it simple. Look at volume and keep it simple. Bruce Lee said, I'm more scared of the man that does a kick 10,000 times rather than learn 10,000 kicks. Just keep it simple, because unless you're an expert like yourself, like Gareth Soloway, like others, then you're gonna mess up. Anything in between, you're gonna mess up. You have to be an expert or keep it simple. Anything in between, throw it out the window for me. right? That's what we call ultimate
themselves.
TA.
What they say, right? Yeah. You know, and it's honestly, and it's also in a constantly evolving craft of yourself. Like once you manage TA, then you manage yourself, you know, and you know, I'm tired tonight. I know, you know, I don't trade after 1 a.m. after like a 15-hour day staring at the screens. Like, you know, you might hit it, but the odds are that you're pushing yourself to some type of limit that maybe you shouldn't be at. You know what I mean?
Your revenge trade.
Yeah.
You'll get mad at yourself. You second guess. Your revenge trade. You'll get bragged. It's happened to me so many times. And you know how many times have I set up my stop losses, set up everything, and everything's perfect, and I change it last minute, and then I get wrecked because I changed it last minute because I don't know something else. And I've learned from that. I've learned from losing a lot of money.
Yeah, no.
So I used to actually teach TA in the Forex industry. I used to teach fundamental and technical analysis. As a manager, we had to learn so we can, you know, get customers and teach them and, you know, stuff like that. When it comes to crypto, there's a few differences. It's pretty much the same, but just keep it stupid simple. Unless, of course, you are an expert, that's a whole different story. Then you can do your expert analysis. And that's where I would like maybe watch your channel, maybe watch other people and see if if I'm missing something. Am I being emotional about this? I'll do my technical analysis, then I'll have a look at whoever disagrees with me. I'll have a look at other traders and be like, okay, have I missed something here? It's a bit of a shortcut. And as I hear them out, I'm like, oh yes, let me just check that, right? But generally speaking, I just keep it simple.
Now, so, you know, kind of answered the question already, but you feel like the bottom is in for Bitcoin? Like, did we absolutely hit the bottom?
And
to double that, do you think we can see 50K before Christmas?
Yeah, well, okay. So, fun fact, okay? Before we went down on the 20K, all right, and everybody was calling, we were at 28K. Everyone was calling 20K. Some other people were calling 10 and 12. I actually said, if we break 20K, we're looking at a 15 to 17K Bitcoin. And I made a bet. I called this out on ATB. I called this out on my channel. I called it, and I even made a bet with Gareth Soloway, which I won, because I told him 15 to 17K, and my guess is 15.6K. All right, I have this documented on videos. You can watch it on ATB. And not only that, I said the bull market will come after the summer, but we'll realize it in 2023, beginning 2023 in hindsight, and people are going to start saying the bottom's is in. And that's exactly what happened. I called it like 7-8 months before that. How I called it, I tried to find the sweet spot where everybody got wrecked, pros and amateurs. But the 15.6 was I'll say it right here live, it was kind of luck, right? But it was 15, but the 15 to 17K, I won the bet with Gareth Soloway, and we've been going up ever since. We've been going up ever since. We've doubled right now. How can you not say this is a bull market? The only difference is there's 3 stages in the bull market, and the third stage is split in 2. So you have the first part of the bull market where you're slowly going up, which we did. You'd barely notice it, and then suddenly, slowly and suddenly, you realize you're up and you're more than double, right?
We got there, yeah.
Are you okay? All right.
No, but that's I'm like explaining visually, like, you know, everyone's like, what happened? Like,
okay.
Bull market actually, you know, it's like it happens so, like, everyone's so in denial that by the time it's there, they're like, oh my God, you just missed the double up, man. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't see
exactly.
You know?
Then you get into the pre and after halving of the bull market, where it goes up a little bit more, and you have those 20% dips that everyone gets scared of, and some China news or some news will come. Who cares? That's the middle. That's the second part of the bull run. Then the third part, 2025, I'm just giving an example here, right? You got the bull market going up, then you have the hyper bull market, which is pretty much before the end, right? So that is how a bull market works. So we are in a bull market. As for how high I think we're going to get this year, I'm gonna keep to my prediction in the beginning of the year, 40 to 50K by the end of this year. I have not changed my prediction for it. I said this in the beginning of 2023, and I stick by it. We got to 35K, so I'm closer to yes than no anyway, but let's see if we get to 40 at least.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm open-minded. I'm just going to watch the charts, but the charts do convey that for 38,000, 39,000, even today, we could go to 39K. You never know.
Of course. I got wrecked on Loom, by the way, because I've been talking all about this, how I've predicted this and got this right. I even got the double top on Bitcoin, by the way, and the 30K, the first drop we have. I even called that. I got wrecked on Loom like last week or like a few days ago. I was looking at Loom. I was looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, this is pumping. It's going up. It's going up. It's going up. I'm like, okay.
LOM, right? Yeah.
LOOM.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I mean, it got out of control. So you use the 3-day and the 21-day moving average, man. And when you get too far away from the 21 on the 3-day,
I bought, but I explained my strategy there, and I think this will help a lot of people if you don't mind me saying my strategy here. When I get into something like Loom, first of all, let's face it, most people don't trade. They listen to trading videos, but they don't use stop losses, they don't use take profits, they don't do none of that, okay? They try to mentally do it. Well, there's a way to save yourself. There's a way to guarantee you don't lose your money, believe it or not. Here's how you do it. Let's say I put $500 into Loom, which I did. Okay, I just did it because first step. I like doing steps. I don't go all in, right?
Yeah, of course.
$500 into Loom, okay? Real number, okay? I'm not a multimillionaire, $500 is fine. So I dip my toes in. What I will do is I will put another $500 in Bitcoin, because I know that Bitcoin will more than likely at some point reach its all-time highs, and we're going to at least get a 2 or 3x this bull market. So what will happen is, if I don't have a stop loss, if I'm not trading, I'm just investing in Loom, let's say Loom goes down, let's say it goes to zero. This Bitcoin will double and I'll get my money back at the very least, if not make some, right? Yeah. So that way I protect myself. So a lot of people say, why buy Bitcoin? Here's the reason. You can actually guarantee not losing money as much as possible, obviously, because nothing is 100%, but it's a way of guaranteeing you get your money back and make profit and guarantee your loss. So every time you buy an altcoin, buy some Bitcoin. And that way, I mean, this is why I say you get rich buying altcoins, but you become wealthy accumulating Bitcoin.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like a 50% or more in my portfolio of Bitcoin. Like it's all
right.
By like even recently I have extra cash and I'm looking around and I have 10 grand in the account and I bought like a couple grand of this. And next thing you know, there's like 3 grand left and I'm going to buy some more alts. And then I'm just like, you know what? And I saw Michael Saylor and I'm just like, more Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
But the problem is when you tell people to put 50% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, they're like, oh, I'll never make money. I only have a few $100. I shouldn't put it in Bitcoin. Yes, but if you have a few $100 and you put $100 in an altcoin and $100 in Bitcoin, you're using a strategy to protect yourself without needing to learn how to trade and do stop losses and stuff like that. Because for some people, it goes over their head. It's a bit too confusing. They don't have the time to learn or they don't want to learn. This is a strategy. This is a strategy that works. It works very, very well.
Yeah, I never thought about that because I mean, again, not financial advice, everyone. You got to do your own thing. But the idea that, the odds of Bitcoin, basically Bitcoin has to lose billions and billions of dollars for it to lose 50% again. You know what I mean? It's easy for Bitcoin to just lose 50%. And
but even if that happens, even if that happens, let's say Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down even more, depending where you are in the cycle, you can always use that Bitcoin to buy those altcoins. So basically, you can just take profits into Bitcoin and still have exposure in crypto and use that Bitcoin to go in and out. Now, I take profits in USDT and also, use that to live. I actually live off of crypto, right? So I use it to pay bills. I use it to go out. I use it to do other investments at the end of the bull run. I used it for hospital bills and stuff like that. I mean, I use crypto. So I would take profits in Bitcoin and USDT because that's the way I work. But generally speaking, you can use Bitcoin to protect yourself in the cryptocurrency, and very few people, if anyone, is talking about this. I talk about it on my channel all the time, and I do give other strategies as well. But I think it's an important one, man.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for your time, Paul. I really appreciate it, man. I don't want to keep going too long, but this is like been amazing. And
thank you so much,
because like some people want to, again, not everyone's going to sit there for 12 hours. Like I literally spend 8 to 9 hours watching charts every single. Like I mean, not everyone's going to become amassed in the charts the way I am, like on a daily basis. But even if you just but what I always say is, even if you just take a beginner's class in technical analysis and you take in the idea, the macro ideas of how to look at the monthly and the weekly, and you just learn some proper like dollar cost average ideas and some strategies, like it can never hurt to understand a little more knowledge than you knew before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agree.
Paul, where can people find you? Where can they see what you're tweeting about, talking about, and where do you go live, or do you make like content on your YouTube channel?
All right. So on YouTube, I'm at TheCryptoFactor. You can just search TheCryptoFactor and find me. That's where I have most of my content. I do live streams, I do short videos, so people that don't want to waste too many times, and I do longer videos. Twitter, I'm MC Paul D, because as I told you earlier on, used to be an MC, and CryptoFactor.net if they want to see my website.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Like this video, guys. Like this video. Lifer is awesome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Please comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next price report every single Wednesday night. God bless. Have a great night. Or wherever you are in the world.